young man has supplied some information to police.
17-year-old runaway Renee finally makes contact.
You don't miss Mum?
No.
But she still refuses to tell her mother where she is.
She just did a lot of yelling and screaming. She's not happy at all.
In Queensland, the desperate search for Englishman Steven Goldsmith.
Somebody said they saw someone pushing a shopping trolley with something in it off the end of the jetty.
It's showtime again for the Missing Persons Unit.
Do you remember where you last saw Mum and Dad?
And it's wall-to-wall lost kids on its busiest day of the year.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ring her straight away.
And all hell breaks out when young Ariel runs off.
Oh, my God.
But it's no laughing matter.
We're worried about if she's getting into drugs.
Morning, everyone. How are we today? Good, boss.
They don't know it yet, but today is going to be one of the busiest ever for the Missing Persons Unit.
Liz and Gary are on the road today following up the case of the 17-year-old missing girl, Renee.
Senior Constable Liz Cicluna continues her search for Renee, who ran off with her boyfriend 2 years ago. Her mum reported her missing after not hearing from her for 7 months.
It's a sad story, this one. I hope we find it. Manny and Steve, it's Easter show day.
You beauty.
No.
Australia's sideshow alleys and agricultural fairs are a magnet for lost children. And with all the attractions and huge crowds, the toddlers vanish in their dozens.
OK, guys, we've got a lot of work on. Have a good day.
Meanwhile, in Brisbane, Sergeant Carmel Harris has begun her investigation into the disappearance of Englishman Steven Goldsmith.
I would love to think that Steven was alive and just hiding, but we have to look at all the different possibilities here.
Steven, a tree surgeon and landscaper, disappeared from New Farm. His passport was still in his apartment, his car and tools still in the garage.
Well, we're going back and we're talking to all the people who knew Steven, just in the hope that there may be a little bit more information that they've forgotten to tell us.
Carmel is driving to Toowoomba to interview Steven's 2 best mates who reported him missing. North of Sydney, Liz and Gary continue their frustrating search for 17-year-old runaway Renee.
We wanted to find out if you guys leased unit number 3.
Last week, Liz was given the difficult case of tracking down Renee, missing for 2 years. She was last seen with her older boyfriend, Adam, over 7 months ago.
We've begged in our letters over and over, and we've had nothing from her.
But because her mother, Evelyn, only just reported her missing,
Have you seen this girl before?
the trail has gone cold.
No.
We've got grave concerns.
Today, back on the hunt, Liz is checking if boyfriend Adam left his mobile number with his real estate agent.
Looks like we've got our phone number here.
Oh, fantastic.
It's the breakthrough they've been hoping for.
We can contact him now because this girl was hanging out with him 6 or 7 months ago. She hasn't been sighted since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A real worry, you know.
He's given us a mobile number for Adam and has confirmed that Adam does reside at the unit complex that we were just at. He's also given us the number for the flatmate as well. So we're going to contact those 2 numbers and see what we come up with.
In Queensland, Carmel Harris has arrived in Toowoomba, where Steven worked as a tree surgeon.
Carmel Harris from the Missing Persons Unit.
Who's this? Hugh.
Hello, Hugh.
Russell?
She's here to interview Steven's mates, who were probably the last to see him alive.
I'd like you both to think about back to when you last saw Steven, the last couple of times you saw him. Did he appear at all unsettled or depressed or unhappy with his life here in Australia?
He's 25, 26 years old and he's earning $300 a day, you know what I mean, and wasn't afraid of spending it. He had a beautiful apartment down in Brisbane, you know, with a swimming pool and a gym and all that.
When Steven first vanished, Hugh tried his mobile phone, but couldn't get him.
You know, thought first of all we might be late or something like that, and then after an hour or so I rang him and there was no answer on his phone. You know, my first reaction, I was really annoyed, but because we were relying on him for the day's work. But I knew it was very out of character for him not to ring and let me know what was going on.
So, worried about his friend, he drove to Brisbane and slipped a note under the door of his apartment. But there was still no word from Steven.
So I think I went down a few days later and found the caretaker and knocked in and asked him to let me into Steve's apartment, which he reluctantly agreed to do. And when we went in, there was my note still underneath the door, untouched. There was wet clothes in a tumble dryer, you know, kind of little dribble of red wine left in a glass, you know, his wallet and credit cards all, you know, it's like he just popped down a shop to buy a newspaper or a packet of cigarettes or something, you know.
Back at Missing Persons headquarters, it's day 2 in the hunt for 17-year-old Renee.
Hi, sir. It's Lisa Cluner calling from the Missing Persons Unit. How are you going?
Good, Liz, yourself?
Good, thank you. I believe you've got some information for me.
Last night, police at the entrance received a breakthrough in relation to a missing teenager, Renee.
Renee's boyfriend heard the Missing Persons Unit were on the trail and did the right thing.
A young man attended the entrance police station and supplied some information to police. As a result of that, the police were able to make contact with Renee via phone.
That's really good news.
Good news.
Yeah.
They were able to convince her that she wasn't in any trouble, and as a result, she attended the police station nearest to where she was staying.
Yep.
And was able to provide some documentation, such as a Medicare card and so forth,
Right.
to confirm who she was.
Thank you very much for that.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Well, that's great news. She's been located by the police. So what I intend on doing now is giving her a call and finding out why she went missing in the first place, and then we'll notify her mum that she's been located.
It's showtime again. Rides, novelty bags, and kids madly running everywhere.
Traffic's going, just looking at it.
For police across the country, showtime is one of the busiest of the year. Up to 150 children will go missing just today. And it all happens in the blink of an eye.
Do you remember where you last saw Mum and Dad?
Within minutes, Mandy has her first customer,
We might take you to... Were you
little
getting some
Yasmin.
lunch or anything
She's
like
lost and very scared.
I was tired walking and I was walking fast with my little sister.
that? And did you start school? She's 5.
And she's 5
Did you
years
start
of
school?
age. We're
Is it
just not far from the show bag pavilions.
So don't worry, okay? We'll find them.
Yeah, I've contacted lost children. They have no record of a parent looking for that child as yet.
Without a report, Mandy and Steve have to resort to good old-fashioned policing. So they start searching for Mum and Dad. Back at Missing Persons headquarters,
Hello? Renee.
Liz has had a breakthrough. 17-year-old Renee has finally made contact.
Can I just ask you why you haven't contacted your mum in over 7 months?
It's mainly because of her attitude towards me, the way she treats me. I told her I don't want anything to do with her.
Yep. Have you thought about giving your little brother a call?
I did, but every time I talk to him, me and my mum seem to get into an argument.
Okay, that's sad. Do you miss your brother?
Mm-hmm.
You don't miss mum?
No.
No. It's really sad, you know. How are you coping with it all?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just worried that you might not have the support up there that you need.
I've got heaps of support.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I do have to say to your mum is that I've spoken with you and that you are safe, and I won't disclose your location. But please give me a call if you want to have a chat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if there is anything that I can help you with.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay, then you look after yourself.
Okay.
Bye, Renee.
Bye.
Next step, ringing mum and letting her know that her daughter's safe.
Safe, maybe, but she doesn't want anything to do with her mother. In Toowoomba, in the case of Steven Goldsmith, Carmel's still searching for the smallest clue.
Every possible scenario has crossed my mind. Yeah.
Maybe he was drunk with people and he fell or something, and, you know, people stressed out, and, you know, that's the only things you can think of are those obscure things.
What do you think's happened?
I think it's highly, highly unlikely that he's gone off camping and liked it so much and decided to stay there.
Yeah.
Too much time has passed. I think Steven was a nice man. I don't think he'd do that to his family, to not keep in touch with them.
And for Steven's parents, here on holiday in Australia, his disappearance has caused them 7 long years of misery.
It's as much of a mystery to his friends and his mates as it is to us.
He would always keep in touch every 3 to 4 weeks. We'd have little notes from him. It's just so strange.
Back at the show, Mandy and Steve have been looking for little Yasmin's parents for over an hour.
She's got tired from walking and she's walked a little bit slower, and you've got split up from Mum and Dad and your 2 sisters. If we can't see them in here, we'll go down to where all the lost kids go, because I'm sure that's the first place Mum and Dad will probably go.
Police advise that when you bring young children to the show, the most important thing is to write their phone number on their arm. It may not seem important,
It's pretty scary when you lose your kids.
but it would have made all the difference to little Yasmin, who's not about to let go of Mandy's hands.
There's lots of people here that don't know you, and that's why Mum and Dad would get worried.
And Mandy's right. When they arrive at the lost children's office, Yasmin's terrified grandmother is already there.
Actually, I'm feeling a little bit emotional, but I'm trying to keep it in until the mother and father arrive here.
Hello, Michelle.
Mummy got lost.
Mum's lost.
As soon as one is sorted, another is lost.
We just find the grandparents of one, reunite her with them, and now we've got another little girl who's very upset because she's lost her parents.
Only 2 hours in, and it looks like it's going to be one of those days.
We'll find her. Don't worry, we'll find her, I promise you.
Back on the case of runaway Renee, Liz is on her way to deliver news that no parent ever wants to hear, that their teenage daughter won't be coming home.
It's hard when someone in the family doesn't want to be reunited with the other. You know, you're the bearer of good and bad news in a way.
But just as Liz arrives, there's great news from Renee's mum.
Just had a phone call from her.
Oh, did you?
Just a minute, 2 minutes ago.
Oh, excellent. Okay, well, you've made contact. What happened?
She just did a lot of yelling and screaming. She's not happy at all.
Yeah, well, what I was coming up here today was to tell you that we had located her.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't tell you where she is, but she is safe and well.
Great. That's
I
great.
spoke to her today.
That's so good. That's really good. Yeah. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Yeah.
It seems to me that there's some issues there that you probably need to work out.
Yeah.
And whether or not she makes contact with you again, it's totally up to her.
I know she's well and she's happy, and that's great. That's, you know, the main issue.
I hope you guys can work it out.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So for Evelyn and Renee, that means time to heal old wounds.
You were born my little baby girl, and you'll always be my baby girl. And just ring me and we can sort something out. I love you. Yeah, I love you.
Meanwhile, in Queensland, Carmel's moved her investigation to the Brisbane River, just 500 metres from where Steven lived.
Carmel Harris from Missing Persons.
Dominating from Police Diving Squad.
Carmel's following up an anonymous call that Steven may have met with foul play.
Somebody said they saw someone pushing a shopping trolley with something in it off the end of the jetty.
The Crime Stoppers caller said that the trolley was pushed off the jetty at the time Steven disappeared.
We dived off a pier and we did a progressive line search underneath the pier on the way out and looking underneath. No visibility at that stage, obviously, so it's a complete hand search, not a sight search. There was nothing under the pier on that time.
So there's not very much more that we can do in regard to searching the river?
Not at this stage, no, not in this location.
Another dead end, which brings even more heartbreak for Steven's family back in England.
And if Steven, you know, is watching or he's out there somewhere and he can see or hears, then, you know, please just get in touch with us, because we just like to know that you're safe and well.
Meanwhile, down south at Sydney's Missing Persons
Hi,
Unit,
Katrina. It's Senior Constable Secluna from the Missing Persons Unit. How are you?
Liz is calling Katrina Larson, the mother of 14-year-old runaway Ariel.
little escapee at the moment.
Her mum says Ariel's had run-ins with police before, when she's been hanging out with street kids.
I know she's smoking because one of the constables who
Smoking what, cannabis or?
No, cigarettes at the moment. I know she has tried cannabis in the past but doesn't like it. But she's hanging out with a girl who's a habitual runaway.
Yep. And what time do you think you'll be home? Because we'd love to come out and have a chat with you.
3:30.
All right, we'll see you then, all right?
Okay, I'll see you then. Thank you.
Nice talking to you. Bye. 14-year-old like Ariel, we're worried about if she's getting into drugs. We're worried about prostitution. We're worried about all different kinds of factors that could affect a child. We're worried that she may not return home. So getting into all kinds of strife. She's got no income, no means of support. She's on the streets.
Meanwhile, back at the show,
Do you know what? No one ever goes home without mum or dad.
Mandy has a little luck.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ring her straight away. Look, you watch how quick mum gets here, OK?
It sounds so simple, but a child carrying ID can mean a quick end to all the tears.
Is that Sharon? Yes, it is. Sharon, it's Mandy from the Missing Persons Unit. How are you?
Oh, good, thank you.
I've got your beautiful daughter, Michelle. Yes.
Oh, whereabouts are you?
We're at the Lost Persons. Do you know where that is?
No.
OK, whereabouts are you?
We're at the Dog Pavilion.
Do you want me to head down there?
Yes.
I'll meet you there because that's closer for you. OK, I'll see you soon. Bye. Excellent. Come with me. We're going to find Mum. I wonder, do you think we'll get there before them?
And as is often the case, Rochelle's mum isn't far away at all.
Ah! Oh! Where have you been? We were so worried. Where'd you... So sad, poor Dawn. It's okay.
We were worried because we didn't know where she was, so first time at the show, and yeah, we don't want that sort of experience.
One more family united. But for Steve and Mandy, it's still full on.
Just had a call from the police exhibit. They've got a parent there who's quite distressed. He's lost his little boy, Jaden. We don't have any more information how old he is, so we'll pop in and see them and see if we can help them out.
Meanwhile, Liz Secluna is on the trail of 14-year-old runaway Ariel Larson.
We're concerned because she's vulnerable due to her age, the people that she may be hanging around with. It could well be that she may not want to return home.
Ariel lives with her single mum, Katrina, and her older sister.
Hello, Katrina. Yes. How are you going? Thank you. Where's Secluna?
Hello, Doug McIntyre.
Okay. All right, so since you've come back from the shop, still no word?
No, okay. Only deciding the other day, about 2 days ago, when I tried to get off the bus, and I was unable to. I thought I'd give her a chance, so she walked off the bus and then she did the run, folded on me, so...
Ariel, seen here on video, went missing when her best friend Christine wasn't allowed to move in.
She's quite young for her age, whereas this other girl's quite experienced. She's been running away from home for the last, say, 3 or 4, maybe 2 or 3 years.
She's been on the streets now for 4 days, and Liz knows that without money, she could be in real trouble.
How does Ariel support herself? Do you give her money, or is she on some sort of youth benefit?
Get Centrelink benefits at the moment.
So she's got no money on her whatsoever?
No income whatsoever.
But her sister Hayley has heard different.
They scalp $40 off people in the city, and all over Leamington they made $45 just by begging.
And her mum, Katrina, knows only too well how serious this is.
I left home at 14 too, so I'm not angry at her. I'm just concerned for her future and the path she's taken at the moment. That's what really gets me. I know how fast it can turn, how many ways you can go. I've been them. So, you know, that's what I'm worried about. That she's just going to fall off the path and she's just going to keep going down the wrong way.
Back in the western suburbs of Sydney,
If I find out any further information tonight, I'll give you a call.
Liz has just received info that 14-year-old runaway Ariel Larson has been spotted begging for money at the local shops.
Okay, so we've just spoken with Ariel's mother. She's quite concerned about her daughter being 14, the people that she's hanging around with. She's told us that Ariel's quite known up at the Ermington shops, so we're going to have a chat with some of the shopkeepers and see what we can come up with.
I want to avoid the cigarettes, the drugs, the alcohol, the people, the deviates, the manipulators, the cons. I wanted to avoid all those people. She doesn't need to know them. They're not worth knowing. I know.
And then Liz gets some great news over the radio.
Missing person that most of her recovered.
It appears the North Shore police vehicle has actually got the missing person and another female stopped at Parramatta Railway Station. So I'm going to attempt to get onto the radio and see if they can hold those two children there. Special Operations 212.
Special Ops 212.
Radio, we're actually after the missing person, Ariel Larson. If I can just confirm that location, because we'd like to come down and pick her up.
Castle Street, Parramatta, 50 metres east of Station Street.
Yeah, Special Operations 212, copy that. We're making our way there now.
Special Ops 212 out.
Let's go get her.
Righto.
Meanwhile, back at the show,
It's a young male. His name is Jaden Lewis.
Steve and Mandy are still searching for 11-year-old Jaden.
He was last seen some 2 hours ago.
But just then, the call comes in that 5-year-old Jacob is also missing.
He's gone like that.
Just here, just now?
About 10 minutes ago from over there.
It's a roller coaster ride for police here on duty.
Come over and you'll have to speak to his mother, I've no idea.
Because as quickly as Jaden was lost, he's found.
Jaden's down at the Lost Children's.
I'll ring the dad, get him to go down there.
Then, out of the blue, Jacob shows up as well. He's been returned to Mum by Patricia Donnelly, one of the show's loyal army of volunteers.
Here, Jaden. You have good fun? Yeah, I bet you were. It's a bit
You
scary,
happy now?
isn't it? Yep.
With Jaden and Jacob safely back with their mums and dads, Mandy and Steve once again immerse themselves in their work.
Make sure the kids are aware that they can approach police or security and, if they get lost.
If they make a designated spot, if they do split up between the kids and the parents, say, if we get split up, go to this spot here. And that way the parents and kids both know to go there and they can meet back up.
Meanwhile, back in Sydney, the police net has closed over 14-year-old Ariel Larson, who's been found roaming the streets.
Hello.
Hi, how you going? Ariel, we've been looking for you. I would like to have a chat with you, okay? You're 14 years old. Police have been out there looking for you. You need to come home with us. Firstly, what I want to find out, wait a second, what I want to find out is have you been harmed at all while you've been out roaming the streets?
No. I swear to God I haven't.
It's not a laughing matter. All right, it's very serious. We can't have 15, 14, 13, whatever age, roaming the streets. It's not safe. So what's going to happen now is you're going to jump in the car with us and we're going to take you home to your mum and we're going to sort this out.
After 4 days on the run, Ariel's finally back with her relieved mother.
It's nice that you've come home, Ariel. Yeah. Wonderful. See, isn't it lovely? Come on. Go away. What's wrong? You're a bit embarrassed, mate. Go away. Your life will give me. That's so rude. Ariel, come here. Ariel, I missed you.
The 14-year-old runaway is home.
She's going out the window.
Oh, my God.
But not for long.
Have you got the radio?
At the Queensland's Missing Persons Unit, Carmel is winding up her report into the disappearance of Englishman Steven Goldsmith.
I've rechecked everything that I could possibly check, And I think I've got sufficient now to put this matter all together and present it to the coroner.
Steven's final fate may never be known. And for Sergeant Carmel Harris, this case will always stay active.
The file will never be closed unless Steven or Steven's remains are found. Someone out there must know something about what has happened to him. The slightest little bit of information could be invaluable to us and to final closure for Steven's family and friends.
Meanwhile, back on the chase,
She's gone back in the back door.
Ariel, the angry 14-year-old, is making life hell for everyone. For Mum Katrina, it's a mixture of relief and anxiety over how to keep her daughter off the streets.
Yeah, we'll give you some time to have a chat.
All right. I'll just see what's going on. And I'll speak to you guys later if that's okay.
It is always such a difficult moment. One that Liz has experienced so many times before.
It's fairly obvious she doesn't want to be home and tried to escape, but we've chased her around the side of the house and there was nowhere really for her to go, so she's ran back inside the house. What's going on? She appears to be a very angry girl at the moment for whatever reason it may be.
So, before it gets out of hand, Liz intervenes.
Guys, let's time out here. All right, let's not argue. You're home, Ariel, and your mother wanted you home.
And Liz needs all her experience to try to keep things calm.
I come across many different types of kids. Kids with serious problems, more than you, all right? Kids that don't want to help.
But she knows, in the end, it's all up to the family.
They've got varied relationships with Ariel at the moment.
Yes.
All right. There is a good Ariel in there. We just have to get her to come out again.
No problems.
Thank you very much.
No dramas. I'm glad to bring her home to you. Thank you so much. Ariel doesn't really want to open up to us about where she's been. She does appear to be fine, both physically and mentally. So apart from that, there's not really a whole lot more we can do now other than offer our support and some support services that are out there to assist Ariel and her mother.